A warm welcome to Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to talk with Chandrasekhar Sharma ji on a very beautiful topic. Again, a shlok which is difficult to understand but will lead us to Rajyog. So, before we begin, a big thanks to all of you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your suggestions and your comments there. If you haven't subscribe to us, please do, and do remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the updates ASAP. A warm welcome to you, sir.
My pleasure.
Sir, so what are you going to teach us today?
As usual, some shloka from Jatak Payasi. People are interested in the Raja Yogas, isn't it? And I try to find out shlokas which are a bit difficult, not difficult as a matter of fact. Once we know the basics of astrology, they would never appear to be, difficult. But then we are now looking at those Raja Yogas, so called. And then the principle used behind it. There has to be some principle. Yogas do not occur in any vacuum sort of thing. So, and then you are the expert in Nakshatra, so I have found something which is talking about Nakshatra in a different
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So, what is said is, Ashwinam Udayata Sthite, Bhrugo Sthite, Sarva Graher Rakshite, Jato Raja Kulagrajo, Ripuk Kuladhvansi, Bahustri Rata. This means if the ascendant degrees lie in the Ashwini Nakshatra, which is the first 13 degrees 20 minutes, as everybody of you would know, and should Venus occupy it? So obviously, which means it is Aries Rashi.
Yes.
The sign is Aries. Lord of the second and Lord of the seventh from it is occupying the second bhav, the personality of the Jataka. Right. And being Venus, he would be attractive to look at, etc., etc. And all other planets should be aspecting, which means Rahu and Ketu are out of this.
Yes.
For a very simple reason, because Rahu or Ketu, by their very presence, can afflict a planet. And yes. So that is out. So Sarva Graha Ikshati. Ikshati means to see. Then the Jataka becomes the prime member of the dynasty of that king, whatever is the king, his family rather, Rajakula, the dynasty of the king. He is the principal of it. He will destroy the family of the enemy, which means the destruction is heavy. When he fights, he would destroy everybody, I mean, all his opponents. Enemies is generally, with reference to king, it is generally opponent who is either an invader or whom the king invades, whose kingdom he invades. And Bahustri Rata, he enjoys many women, is being said. Now here we have to understand this is of a time when multiple marriages was a regular thing in kings. And most of those marriages were with respect to, the extremism. They were for political purposes.
For political, yes.
To see to it that the other king, the especially king in the border areas, do not attack him. And he has some, you look at the history of England or any European history and you will realize what was happening and the reason behind it. So, and of course, he would be enjoying many women, might be a different way of looking at it because Venus is, placed right there in the lagna, the ascendant. So he would be very handsome, having beautiful eyes, etc., etc., which are the specialty of Venus. And it's quite possible that women might love him. So it is, I mean, so both the ways you have to understand it. Don't take it, what I would say is literally. Because taking something literally always makes a problem. Saturn sitting in the 7th house would be in its Rashi of exaltation. If you go on looking at it, we will understand why. Jupiter and Mars would be Yoga Karakas and the trine lords aspecting it. Moon himself, if Moon is in the Lagna, a person finds it difficult to make quick decisions, so he better be in the 7th house. And so on and so forth. Sun would be there, so not easily disturbed by other things. You see, when Moon is weak, usually a person is able to control his emotions. At least they are not seen externally, which is one of the prime condition of being a king, because he would be killing so many people in the, not literal killing. If he's a corporate person, he might see to it that a person, the opponent goes in, penury, or is absolutely
is not getting a chance to get a high rise. Yes.
He has lost everything. So all these philanthropists doesn't necessarily mean killing, but in a way, yes, he renders people ineffective. Let us put it this way: his opponents. Then the next shloka has more to do with the strength of the Navamsha. This is all continuing with each other, so don't take it that something else is being said. Here it is said, Hitva Nicha Navamsha Ambaratare. Strade, that is 3. Swabhagan Vita. Eko Lagna Gato Yadi. Kshitipati Panchadikair Vittava. Which means if 3 planets are occupying their own Rashi, but not occupying their Navamsha of debility, so they should not be weak. So just looking at a natal chart and going on from there, predicting something big, especially, would not be very wise. The strength comes from the Navamsha is being very clear here. And then he goes ahead that they can be anywhere. That is fine. But if one of them is occupying his own Rashi in the ascendant itself, which, barring sun and moon, would make the Panchamahapurusha Yoga, one of the great yogas for success.
Yes.
He will become a king. If there are 5 such planets, which means 5 planets occupying their own house, 1, and
that is in the Navamsha, occupying their own.
No, in the natal chart, but they should not be in Navamsha of their divinity in that Rashi. They have to occupy some Navamsha. It should not be the Rashi of its debilation that is there. So the degrees are the 2 degrees 20 minutes time span is excluded. Very specific. And one of them is occupying the ascendant in his own Rashi. Then he becomes a king who is also wealthy. So now you have got 3 planets, one of them in the Lagna, all in own Rashi, but not in Navamsha of its ability, which means even in Panchamahapurusha Yoga, you have to understand this. That just because a planet is occupying the Kendra or angle as they say it, or square as I call it, because I am used to that North Indian chart, which does look like square. So don't jump to the conclusion about the Panchamahapurusha Yoga, nor get disappointed if it is not coming into picture. Look at the strength of that planet in Navamsha also.
Yes.
If it is Rashi of enemy, a bit low. If it is in Rashi of debility, the Navamsha Rashi of debility, then it will be even lower. So I thought that this will be a good shloka to talk about. And one more thing. If we look at that Ambaracharai, is the line coming. That the second shloka, it could also mean a charai. That means they should be in fixed rashis. But that is difficult. Because not all grahas, of course, all grahas do own one rashi which is fixed and one rashi which is
movable.
Cardinal. Especially with the 5 planets, not sun and moon. Sun and moon are excluded there. So that is not impossible, but that could also be one of the interpretation which has to be always kept in mind. Whether if the planets are in fixed rashis, is the impact more or whatever, should also be looked at before taking it absolutely verbatim. That is why I always say understand the principles. Don't go verbatim only looking at the yoga. Otherwise, we are more likely to make mistakes than come to the right conclusion. And that is why I call them difficult to understand shlokas. In Sanskrit, it is called anakalaniya shloka. That which is difficult to akalan. Akalan means understand. So there we have it.
Thank you, sir. So in the first one, we saw that Ashwini Nakshatra and then Shukra placed in that Nakshatra and all the grahas.
No, not in that Nakshatra. See, Ashwini Nakshatra should be there in the lagna.
Yes.
That means Aries Rashi first 13 degrees 20 minutes.
Yes.
And
Shukra
Venus
is
should
in the
be anywhere, because he is Lord of the second, the Lord of the wealth, occupying the lagna. So acquiring wealth on his own, with his own personality, efforts, etc., etc., etc. And because it is Venus, it is able to give a beautiful appearance. So naturally, many women would be fond of him. Let us put it this way, and all other planets will be aspect.
So, and sir, in the second one, as you say, that there are three planets which are placed in their own sign. But the condition is that they should not be in the Navamsha, in their sign of debility. Yes. In that case, that a person can become a great king. And if there are 5 such Swarashi planets, then the person becomes a very wealthy king also.
If one of them is occupying his own Rashi in the ascendant.
In the Lagna, yes.
In the ascendant, yes. That has to be there. Well, ultimately, whatever you do, you have to understand this is possible. When, at least, Mercury can be in your own house, isn't it?
Yes, even Venus can be in own house, Sun can be exalted.
Yes. So, I mean, we have to look at it whether it is possible or not. Everything has to be seen in the proper. Moon, of course, can be anywhere because he is such a fast mover. He can always be in the 4th Rashi. There is no problem for Moon. And Saturn going to the 7th house obviously would be there. So, the first one and the second one are a bit different than each other. Yes. The first one needs Jupiter, Venus to be in the lagna. Period. That's it.
Yes.
Nothing doing, isn't it? When there is a possibility that, of course, Mercury could be in the 3rd house, if possible, occupying own house. But what happens to the great sun? He would go to the 5th house, which is not in the 7th house. So certain planets would be excluded from that. The planets which are, and even Rahu-Ketu would be excluded. So we have to take it in the right spirit, because there are yogas where they say if all planets aspect the lagna, which many a times becomes very difficult to understand how it is possible in certain cases. Yes. So generally when we talk, these are type of Nabhas yogas, but a different form of it. These are not Nabhas yoga, where they say 7 planets or 8 planets, but it's impossible. If we look at the way planets move, then it becomes impossible. So understand the principle behind it. More planets in own Rashi, not in debility Navamsha, or even not in enemy Navamsha, though it is not said. It says that the strength goes down, the result will.
Exactly.
He may not be the first member of the king's family. He might be the second, like King George the VI. But because of something happening, he might become the king.
Yes.
So you have to take it in the right perspective. There would be, even Marami here has said that in certain yogas, benefics should be in square to each other, which is impossible. But if we look at astronomy, we will understand that in higher reaches, it would be possible.
So we see a very beautiful way where we see that Raj Yogas are formed due to the planets. It's important to understand that in today's day and time, we may not find kings, but we do find corporate leaders, we do find leaders, and we find so many other people moving towards a high profile place in society. So when we talk about Raj Yoga, we will definitely find these yoga existing in those charts. So do keep in mind, do look around in the charts that you have, and do write in your comments and suggestions. Till we meet with you again, stay safe. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.